Good morning. Welcome to a new series, which I'm calling, morning meditations, but I may change it to Monday meditations because I do intend to stream these short talks on a Monday. I haven't been with you for quite a while, um, mainly because it's been summer and I've been taking a break, but I'm now back and I'm going to be doing a series of short talks which are going to be adapted from talks which I'm giving on Wiltshire Radio on a Sunday morning at 8:30. If anybody's up at that time and wants to listen, you're really welcome. But I'm going to start in a few moments. But just for those who don't know who I am and are new to this channel, my name's Angela. I'm a lay minister with the Church of England in Swindon, and I just share my thoughts and reflections to encourage and bless you. The first is going to be the first talk which I gave on Wiltshire Radio. So we will begin in a moment, but let's just have a short few seconds of quiet. Let's just pray. Ask God to make these few thoughts real to you. Well, a few weeks ago, I said I was enjoying watching the Olympics. I was telling everybody about the Olympics I was watching. But I'm now watching the Paralympics and I'm finding it really inspiring. It's great to see the UK winning so many medals. And yeah, I'm sure it's really good for my sort of patriotic instincts. But my parents were athletes and they were into road racing and won many cups and medals. And I guess I'm like athletics because it was something which I grew up with as a child and which they kind of installed in me. I loved looking at the photographs of their races. But for a few minutes, let's just think about sports in general. There's a lot that we can learn from being part of a sports team. Apart from the obvious health benefits, there's the opportunity to experience the sportsmanship, the companionship, the camaraderie of being part of a team, learning perseverance and patience, and also how to lose gracefully as well as win without becoming puffed up with pride. It's also good to support a team, whether it's performing well and on a winning streak or if it's performing badly. It's sticking with that team, being part of it, celebrating together and sharing commiserations. Well, when I thought I would sort of just talk about the Olympics, I wondered what the Bible had to say about sports and games and found that it actually said very little. It seems that athletics are the only sport that's really mentioned in the Bible. And maybe this was because Paul, who referred to running the race, liked athletics. Maybe he was a bit like me, but that's all really that he speaks about. He writes in Hebrews, and I'll just read this to you. I've got it on the side. We have this great crowd of witnesses around us. So then, let us rid ourselves of everything that gets in the way and of the sin which holds on to us so tightly. And let us run with determination the race that lies before us. Yeah. Let's think about what the Apostle Paul was saying about running a race. He writes of a great crowd of witnesses. There are two ways we could think about witnesses. We could think about the spectators who are watching. He wouldn't have been writing to people that was able to watch sports on television. They would have been watching live. So let's think about the spectators. They would have been there cheering on the runners, waving, giving their support. And yeah, just today, that's what we still have, we see the roads lined with people watching the road races. And we see others on the side helping, cheering them on. Giving in races, very often, they're giving out drinks. I didn't see that at the Olympics, but you do have this kind of support for the team. And that's one way of looking at spectators. But I think there's another way in which Paul is thinking about the great crowd of witnesses or the spectators. He can also be thinking about the people that are watching the sportsmen and the athletics. Yeah, in a way, we can think of it as they are ambassadors for their sport. The public will remember the athlete as much for their bad behavior or sulks and things like this, and the way they conduct themselves, as much as their skill on the field or on the court, wherever they're playing. And yeah, they are ambassadors. And as we run our race, we too are ambassadors. We're ambassadors for our faith, for our church, for whatever we are belonging to and supporting. People watch and they judge us. I used to compete in dog sports, agility and hill work to music. But now I'm officially retired. My focus is just on helping others within the club. Being still part of a team. There's this, we're all in this together. The coaches, the trainers, the team captains, all one team. And that's what I want to leave with you this morning. That's what I want you to think about, that we're all part of a team. And if we belong to a church, we're part of that team. If we belong to a club, we're part of that team. And in a way, we're being watched as we live out our lives. And in a way, that's a little bit like running a race. Yeah, think about it. Shakespeare said the whole world is a stage and we're all actors. I think Paul is saying that the world is a racetrack and we're all athletes. Yeah, I personally like to think of the race of life as being a bit like a relay race. I have been chosen to run in God's team, and that's a privilege. I'm doing my best to play my part, picking up the baton and running with it, and knowing that there'll be a time when I need to be ready to hand it on. Yeah, in some respects, the race of life is like a relay race, but also it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Yeah, it's more of a grueling marathon, up hills and over the rough cobble grounds. And yeah, it's not a comfortable sprint, but it's worth it being in this race, in this team, in God's team. Paul ends his race analogy with the exhortation, run the race that lies let us run the race that lies before us with determination. I'm thinking, how am I running my race? And I'd like to ask you, how are you running your race? Are you just starting out? Are you just gone past the starting line and you're fresh and full of vigor and knowing that you're going to get there? Or are you just kind of like hobbling towards the finish line, hoping that you're going to make it? Well, let me just encourage you to keep on in that race with determination, running that race with determination. Before I go, I'm just going to end this really short talk with a quote from Chariots of Fire, and just let these words, just let them to speak to your heart. Run in God's name and let the world stand back in wonder. Yeah, run in God's name and let the world stand back in wonder. Well, that's just a few thoughts from the Olympics. I'm going to get back to watching it in a moment. I'm really enjoying the Paralympics, especially seeing the support that they have one for another. These just short reflection was written at the time of the Olympics rather than the Paralympics, but do enjoy it and just keep running the race. I'll be with you hopefully next week. Bye. Bye.